All righty. I'd like to welcome everybody to the very first finance meeting of 2023. Today's date, Wednesday, January 4th. Let's go ahead and bring our meeting to order. It appears that we have all members present with the exception of Chair Metzger. So we have a quorum and can continue. All right, first item up for action tonight is approval of the minutes, December 7th, 2022 regular meeting minutes. May I please have a motion to put this one on the floor? Motion by member Friedrich. May I have a second from member Rogel? Any comments or questions? Seeing none, let's go ahead and vote on the approval of the meeting minutes. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, the meeting minutes pass, which brings us to the appearance of members by public and county employees. Do we have anyone this evening?
We have had no requests to speak this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Which brings us along to item number 4. This evening we have a special presentation from the Economic Development Council. I'd like to welcome Mr. Patrick Hoban. Mr. Hoban, the floor is yours.
I'm on. Everybody good? Okay, thank you. All right, next slide, please. Yeah, I'm here tonight to give you guys an economic update. I think everybody knows who I am. If not, I'm the CEO of the Bloomington-Normal Economic Development Council. I'm glad to be back. Next slide, please. At the EDC, our goal is really to help our current businesses grow, also bring in new businesses, and recently focused on workforce. And tonight we're going to go over our brand new strategic plan that has not been released to the public yet. This is the first introduction of it. We'll release the whole thing to the public at our Be In by the Numbers on the 26th, but this is a preview of the 16 items that we've prioritized, which does include some of your entrepreneurship programs. Next slide, please. So what we like to do with our flywheel concept is that if you have, this is oversimplification of Econ Dev, but if we have good resources, then our businesses will develop. And if our businesses can develop, then they can invest back in the community, which gives us opportunity to create more resources, and hopefully the flywheel continues. Next slide. So to do that, we have 16, actually 20 initiatives that we focus on within those goals. 16 of them are public, with 4 of them being private, which has to do with some training and some certifications. But our first one that's on here, always number 1 for what we do, is project management. So we want to make sure that we are taking care of any of our current businesses, thinking about expanding. There's been quite a bit of those recently, and also bringing in new businesses. We've hosted quite a few foreign direct investors lately. Whether we're going up to Chicago and meeting with their chambers of commerce, or actually having them in town, driving them around, showing them the area, trying to let them understand that they can get through the political process in Illinois if they are from a country like China, where normally you talk to one person and they give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Getting through our regulations a little bit different. I wanted this slide up here because this is actually where your 19 loans are for that have been approved. And this is the same slide that we had last go around, which showed that we had $40,000 going to the hotel, leaving about $380,000 balance for whatever you guys want to do in economic development. Later on, sure. Yes, yes. That's the start. No worries, no worries. So yeah, so that's 380. So later on, we did highlight entrepreneurship. I just wanted to give you guys a balance on that one. Next slide. So after managing those projects that come in, we also want to focus on our business retention and expansion. So we have a full-time person, Casey Peterson, that's him there, who really works with our current businesses to find out what their needs are, to hopefully get them to grow from within. And if they run into a lot of problems, we want to know what those are so we can try to be an advocate for the businesses. Next slide. After that, we work on developer retention and attraction. One of our biggest challenges now, we have a lot of RFPs, requests for proposals, where businesses are interested in coming to our area, but as you notice, we're running out of buildings. We're primarily focused on non-retail. So the best building that we have right now is the GE building, which is fairly large. But then after that, we're missing some of the taller buildings that are required for some of the new distribution centers or manufacturing that's looking to come to the area. So it's Nick's role to meet with anyone in the development community to try to get new projects, development projects coming in, like what is just recently completed, the Wildwood project up on Carrick Road, where they doubled that 500,000 square feet. We need more of those. The more of those that we have, the more businesses we can land, because right now we're running really short on buildings. Next slide. After that, we do business attraction. That's primarily my focus, where we do go out of town, we go to site selection conferences, and we tell our story. Whenever I did go to Select USA out in DC, I was part of Team Illinois, so we had our own booth, but it was our role to meet with a lot of foreign direct investors and tell the story of Illinois, which was really cool because we had this huge video screen that was showing Chicago and the Bulls, and people would come up and we'd ask them what they knew about Illinois, and they knew Michael Jordan, they knew Chicago, and a lot of them knew Rivian. So I became very popular at that booth. Got a lot of cards, which is why we've had some follow-up, especially from Chinese companies. But attraction's been going really well. But again, we can get them in town all day, and then they say, show me what buildings you have, and we're out of buildings. So we show them a lot of land right now. Next slide. One Voice, this is coming up, and these are our 2023 projects that we're taking to One Voice. That's going to be February 28th, March 1st, and March 2nd. We go to DC every year to try to bring federal dollars back to fund some of our infrastructure projects. The first one is Benward upgrades. They're looking to do an extension up in the North Normal Hudson area. There's a lot of, especially around that Wildwood project I was just talking about, there's potential to do more expansion up there if we had the right infrastructure. So the difference between having farmland and actually sites that you can develop, they have to be shovel ready, and without the infrastructure, they're not shovel ready. So it's to get more sewer service up there. The next one is Sierra Road. So the access road right now, they've changed that intersection. We want to be able to have the FedEx trucks go straight in so they're not using what everybody else uses to get to the airport. We think that that'll really open up some more opportunity as well for distribution. And then the last one is some drainage needs in Uptown Normal. So I guess they've had some storm sewer issues, and that's another project that our board voted on. We do take 30 local leaders out there. The applications are open now for anyone from the public that wants to join us, our community leaders. But I know that this year Cassie and both Coach are going to go as well. But it's a good trip. We brought back quite a few dollars over the years. Next slide. The BN STEM program, this is really geared towards K through 12, just letting them know what cool jobs we have here in the area. It's based on it's experience-based learning. So it's one thing to learn something in a classroom, another thing to actually go to a cadaver lab, which I'm not interested in, but I guess it's pretty popular for the kids to see something like that. So it's a way to introduce our local businesses to the local kids. Next slide. Rural Development Fellow, this is Randall. She is from ISU. She's working with Casey right now to expand the reach out in the rural communities. We want to make sure that we have all the available land, whether that's public or private, that it is for sale, because some things are pocket listings. So if we do get an RFP in, we want to be able to include that, but then also help out the rural mayors and their smaller businesses and fill some vacant space as well. So if we don't have the space, we don't know the business's needs, we can't extend our services. So the goal of Randall is to extend EDC service out in the rural communities. Next slide. Workforce attraction. This is number one topic when it comes to BRE right now. We're running out of people. You're seeing a lot of automation take over. More checkout lines you're doing yourself, and it's starting to pay more and more even for, I think Taco John's is paying like $13 an hour starting off now. Everyone's competing. So we need to get more people in the community. So we're going to launch a new branding campaign that's going to be geared at getting more of the regional rural communities to move here, getting more people to commute here, and then finally in Q4 going after alumni. So anybody that went to ISU or local schools that might have moved away to Chicagoland, that might be tired of all the traffic, higher cost of living, hopefully have more homes by then, try to recruit them home as well. So we need more people to fill all these jobs. So that will be launched at the Chamber Gala February 4th. Next slide. Real Estate Development Summit, we are going to be hosting January 26th. This goes back to the lack of buildings. We're going to extend our BN by the numbers by 2 hours and let everybody know what available sites that we have and also what our needs are, whether it comes to commercial or residential, to try to bring in people locally, but also from out of town to develop more product that we can hopefully sell. Next slide. Which is residential expansion and attraction. Traditionally, we've always done non-retail economic development, just focus on manufacturing, bigger companies. With that said, back to the workforce issue, everyone's saying that we don't have enough workers and we would if we had more homes. So now we're getting into the residential game. Same thing that we do for attracting commercial developers. Now we're going to be working with residential developers as well to hopefully rehab some of the homes that we have and also focus on infill to stop some of the urban sprawl that's happening. Next slide. an industrial park. This is going to be a big one for us because we do have Norfolk Southern running through the community. It'd be nice if we would have an industrial park because some of the suppliers that are coming in need that rail access, and we're not known for that right now. So if we can get some rail access with some bigger buildings, especially out by the airport, I think there's a lot of potential out there that we can start landing more projects. So with this one, we'll end up working countywide, town, city, and issuing an RFP, request for proposal, to have a developer come in to try to master plan something to build us an industrial park so we can hopefully start attracting a lot of the suppliers that could be coming in for Rivian and others. Next slide. Entrepreneurship. So the program that we had running for you guys was actually put on pause last year because we were launching the branding initiative. Because of that, the board said, hey, we have too many things going at the same time, stop entrepreneurship. This year, it's actually risen up, so it's number 12 now, where last year I think it was number 15. These are the things that we talked about last time, having that rental incentive. So instead of giving money directly to an at-home business or a startup, we would pay their rent for 6 months or a year to fill a vacant space, get them out of their house. Another concept, if you guys are interested, both ISU and Wesleyan have startup competitions. And so offering maybe the top 1 or 2 winners some of the money too, if they take over one of those spaces and stay in town instead of taking those dollars or ideas back to Chicago or wherever their hometown is. And then the last one is starting up the revolving loan fund. Because interest rates are rising again, there is value in having that revolving loan fund. Where before, everybody's interest rates were so low, there was no reason to go through us when they could just go to the bank. So these are the 3 concepts we're probably going to look at for those remaining dollars. And if there's anything else, just like last time, email me concepts or best practices. We'll take it to the CDC, then hopefully package that back up for approval in March to bring back to you guys for that remaining 380.
Thank you, Mike. The last meeting, I think we were talking about this, and we asked you to give us some ideas. Is this what you're presenting to us? Is some ideas that you think we should be doing?
Yes.
Okay. And what's going to be the process for us as probably more to administration to approve it? Because I just go back to the time when we've had this enterprise fund, and we appointed a committee to study it and decide what to do with it, and they couldn't figure anything out. Nobody could ever figure anything out, and it just sits there. Okay, the money just sits there. It doesn't do anything, and so is the process then to have it come back before finance, or what are we going to do here?
So today, Patrick is introducing 3 ideas that have come up at the CDC, but
And these are the 3?
those are the 3 so far.
Okay.
The plan is for the CDC to have further conversation regarding these ideas, flush them out a little bit more, and come back in March with a presentation for us to take action.
Okay. So we'll be considering, taking up all 3, or taking up 1, or taking up 2, or taking up something.
Or a new idea we haven't thought of yet.
Okay, all right. Yep, thank you.
And the rental incentive one is one that we're stealing from Monticello. So they've got an example where it's like Shark Tank, and whoever wins, they pay for their rent and move them out of their home and into a building. Next slide. The virtual tours one, this is just enhancing certain packages. So either with drone footage or doing 3D models so we can get just better representation of some of the properties that we have here in town, especially to some out-of-town developers. Next slide. Smart cities is a continuation, the Bloomington Normal Innovation Alliance. It's just trying to make sure that we've got smart infrastructure and getting the town, the city, and the university with the county all working together, speaking the same language when it comes to tech. Next slide. And last one is Econ Dev Education. This is one which will, I think, help out everybody, either creating videos, animations, or just doing more guest lectures on the entire process and what role everybody plays in that. I think will help out with the project pipeline if people know where to start and where to go. And these are what the board has approved. And like I said, we'll have the full plan online and ready to go on January 26th at our Being by the Numbers, but wanted to give you guys a preview of it, and then also the 3 ideas that CDC came up with to take back and flush out. And then next slide, I think it's just my contact. Oh, one more. Regional Econ Dev. Yeah, we had 15 last time. So this is one which has already been happening in the background, but we want to formalize it and make some tear sheets or one-pagers so that anytime that I go to a conference or if Champaign goes to a conference, we're never just selling our community. The workforce that we have to sell is the entire region, because we don't have enough people to support our jobs. They don't have enough to support their own. So this is to say that if you move to Bloomington Normal, you have access to all of Central Illinois. So those are the workers that we sell. So we're going to come up with a campaign and continue to work together to tell the story of Central Illinois, not just Bloomington Normal. And then next slide. That's me. So yeah, any ideas that you guys have for the revolving loan fund, or let us know, and then we'll work that in for CDC and bring it back to you guys in March.
The only idea I have is just, you know, an effort to try to keep the money as local as possible. I presume that's what you're trying to do, but, you know, it is McLean County money to stay in McLean County. So I suppose, I presume with those three ideas you had, that's kind of what you're looking at anyway. I mean,
Yes.
That's what it looks like, but that would be great. Even if we were going to give someone from ISU or Wesleyan some money, I mean, it'd be nice if they were going to take that and invested it in McLean County as opposed to somewhere else.
That's one where we'd probably tie it to rent. So we wouldn't give the student the money, but we'd give the landlord the money if they set up the business in one of our vacant spaces. Yeah, I don't want to give them money to move back to Chicago.
Other comments or questions for Mr. Hoban?
Nope.
The line that runs south of the airport, it's Norfolk and Southern.
Yes.
Operational.
Yes. Yeah, we've talked to them about rail spurs in a variety of areas in the county.
And it runs up to Rivian, does it? I think.
Yes, and then past it as well.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Patrick, how closely do you work with mayors of the rural communities? There's a mayor association. Do you meet frequently with them, or are they included in this, or how much are they?
So Casey attended the last meeting, so we try to have one of our representatives there. So yeah, Casey, our BRE specialist was there. Actually, Randall, our rural specialist, was out of town, but yeah, he's trying to set up more meetings to get her in front of them.
And then I did have one question, Mr. Hoban. I know you mentioned that the full plan will be unveiled later on this month. Is the PowerPoint available for the members of this
Definitely.
committee?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for that. So we have some notes. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you again here in a few months to talk a little bit more about the next steps and what we can do together.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. So this carries us on now into our departmental matters. With our departmental matters kicking off with 5A 1 and 2. We'll see County Auditor Michelle Anderson has no items to be presented for action, doesn't seem to have any items presented for information, and County Auditor Anderson is not with us this evening. So should you have any questions, I'm sure she'd be able to entertain those if you would direct those over to her. Carrying on to 5B, we have County Treasurer Becky McNeil. County Treasurer McNeil, if you'd like to come join us. We've got 2 items for action this evening, and looks like number B1A, request approval for a resolution authorizing the county board chair to surrender a mobile home tax sale certificate. May I have a motion to place this on the floor for discussion? We have a motion by member Rogal and a second by member Roseman Mendoza. County Treasurer McNeil, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening. This is, the first item that you have is the resolution to surrender the mobile home tax sale certificate of purchase. I'm not going to go into great detail. If you have any questions, I encourage you to reach out to me so I can talk with you about the process. In summary, this is a parcel that, again, taxes were not paid, went through the tax sale process. No other bidders bid on it. It was sold to the trustee. property owner failed to redeem it in the time required by Illinois state statute. And so the trustee was able to go forward through the court and obtain a certificate for title. However, the goal of the trustee program that McLean County has is to not actually acquire a parcel if a taxpayer is still willing to work with us. And so this taxpayer has been making payments since last fall, and they have paid the amount due. And so I'm asking that that we surrender the mobile home tax sale certificate of purchase, which will allow them to retain ownership of their mobile home.
So this is the most ideal outcome with the
is.
trustee program.
It is,
correct?
it is. This is a special program, trustee program. Like I said, it's one where when we have parcels at tax sale, it's all a statutory process outlined in tax code. Some of those parcels are not always in the best condition, and so some of our tax buyers, they're just simply not interested in them. So the statute creates this program so that the county is not holding unpaid taxes for years and years and years and years on behalf of the taxing districts. So,
Questions and comments? Seeing none, let's go ahead and vote on the request approval of a resolution authorizing the county board chair to surrender a mobile home tax sale certificate. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. The motion passes. Let's go ahead and carry on to B1B. Second item for action being accept and place on file the county treasurer's monthly financial reports to be distributed. May I have a motion to put it on the floor? Member Erickson with the motion, Member Friedrich with the second. Back over to you, Treasurer.
All right. So the first report, it's our summary of tax revenue and sales tax revenue, various forms of revenue we received from the state of Illinois. For the month of December on retail occupation tax, we received a total of $1.4 million compared to just a little over $1 million in 2021, December of 2021. So that was over by $408,000. Year-to-date comparison, we have vouchers of $17.9 million compared to $13.2 million in 2021. So our year-to-date comparison, we're $4.7 million over. Looking at budget was at $12.1 million. Our revenue of $17.9 million has exceeded budget by $5.8 million. This is extremely unusual to be having this conversation. Normally, we're, concerned about meeting budget. So, but there were a number of different things that have happened in 2022. One of them, recalculation of the formulas. This is money that is distributed to the counties and municipalities from the state of Illinois. So the retailers pay it in, and then the state of Illinois Department of Revenue turns around and disperses the portion that belongs to local governments. So on that right side there, I kind of captured a little bit of the areas where we received the most over budget. Obviously, the PPRT, that was the one that I had said when I said that there was a recalculation. PPRT, there was a recalculation in the formulas, and there were some changes made for businesses in regards to their reporting. So it's not surprising that at the end of 2022, we're still running quite a bit over there in revenue receipts versus budget. This time right now, during the month of January, February, and March, we're going to be going through the process of accrual. The numbers I have on here are based on cash receipts, but on the general ledger, what's going to happen now on the general ledger is through the process of governmental accounting accrual, we're going to be moving January, February, and March numbers in, and we're going to be moving January and February and March numbers from 2022 that we had posted out. The reason why I bring that up to you is because these numbers are going to change if, when we get ready to go through audit, they're probably going to be higher. Just because our numbers here at the end of 2022 have been trending a lot higher. So this information I'm presenting now, it's not final. It's not final till we go through audit and we finish our governmental accounting accruals that we have to do. So the next section on this is the shared sales tax revenue. The revenue for Town of Normal for the entire year, 12 months, a little over $2 million. Bloomington, $2.8 million, total $4.9 million, compared to $4.4 million. Not surprising at all that this is over because we receive a portion of what the city of Bloomington and Town of Normal receive from the state, just like we got above our distributions. The fund equity is $15,059,734. Property tax revenue is the next section. All property tax funds are collected and in the county levied, or the county was extended, levied $38.2 million. We were able to distribute little over $38 million. 99.6% of what was adopted was collected and distributed. And then motor fuel tax, regular county motor fuel, $2,098,000 is the total for those 12 months. Again, this is a situation where we're going to be doing some accrual accounting work, and this is probably going to go up a little bit because we're going to move the receipts that we receive in January. We're actually going to recognize that revenue in December. The renewal fund, $1.5 million, total $3,675,000. Township, $1.7 million, renewal was $1.3 million, and total township $3.1 million. Any questions? So the next report is the investment report.
I'm sorry, we do have one
I'm
question,
so
if that's
sorry.
okay.
That's
Yes.
okay.
Member Friedrich?
Yes.
You made a comment that moving to the tax revenue side and the trends, and this being an unusual amount over collected. My question is, have you done a trend for the last 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Yeah, it's significantly over. I mean, we
10
started
years?
seeing, I have numbers, I could put it together for you. I've done that before. I've come in with numbers
Okay.
before, where we can look back and see how that's changed. And you know, the thing is that treasurers throughout the state of Illinois are all, we're all like, wow, this was not expected. But a lot of different things changed. Back in 2021, they had a change with the way in which retailer tax was collected. That was the across the board. That was level the playing field that the state put in place. And that's a big reason why that sales tax number is up. Is because of the level of the playing field where internet sales were taxed, were finally taxed, and that was then collected and passed along to local governments. And then with the PPRT, again, that was just some major changes with corporate tax laws. So I can go back and I can create that summary for you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. General suggestion.
You would be extremely surprised. This is a very unusual time. We're very grateful to have it, but I don't know that it will continue at the rate that we're going. So, but we'll watch that.
Yeah.
Obviously,
5
Every
to
single
7
month I'm
years.
gonna come in here and I'm going to talk about that
Yeah.
and keep you updated.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. So the next report is the investment report. And with this being only 4 days into the fiscal year, we don't have a lot of rates out as of 12/31 just yet that are in my office accessible to us. I did capture the Illinois Funds money market rate, 4.11. We've got a lot of accrual work that we've got to do, but our interest earnings are also quite substantial for 2022. And that will be another number that's probably going to come out in the audit, because 2020 and 2021 were rock bottom. You know, the Fed was not moving at all. And over the last couple months, you've heard the Fed moving at record pace. For an investor like the county, that is very favorable to us. So anyway, and these rates, we have things staggered out so that we're going to continue to see a good return in 2023. And then we're going to, continue. Now we're going to continue to ladder out investments. The treasuries are over 4% right now, so I'm going to be purchasing some of those. We purchased some earlier in the summer that were between 2% and 3%. Now we're up to 4%, so we'll just ladder them out. Okay. Overall, 119,000, 484,000. The next report is the Blue Cross Blue Shield self-insured plan. And 2022, 12 months there, we had expenses of $6,738,000. That was up by $607,000 compared to 2021. Our self-insurance plan, we pay what's called a stop loss fee. That's that column 6 there that's highlighted in yellow. We paid a total of $871,000 in 2022, plus the $22,292. The stop loss adjustment, because we paid for that, you want to call it insurance, we prevented additional losses to the county of $1,062,000. So our expenses for the month or for the year of 2022 would have been higher by $1,062,000 had we not had that stop loss in place. So, and overall, if you look over there on that last column, which sums up categories 4 through 13, you can see that just the stop loss policy and the funds that we were able to save there offset our net fees and costs. We ended up with a credit of net fees and costs that we were able to apply against our claims, which is how you come down to the $6,738,000. So, any questions on that? Yes.
Hate to ask again. Have you done trend analysis from year to year? Is this higher, lower than in the past?
It's higher because 2020 and 2021, but mostly 2020. During 2020, because of COVID, there were just a lot of people that, even though they could have gone and had certain procedures done, they stopped. They weren't going to take the risk. But I can certainly go and I can do a full analysis. I guess the question would be, when do you want to see something like that? Because what is going to happen on my end is that during January, February, and March, and it's just like these sales tax numbers, during January, February, and March, we've got accrual work that we've got to do. So we won't know a final on this until March. Because what will happen is Blue Cross Blue Shield, they'll be paying claims out in January, February, and March, but by accounting rules, we have to go and we have to back that expense into 2022. I'd be more than happy to create it based off of the reports from previous years, but that's what I'm saying is that through accrual, we're not done making adjustments yet. I don't want to give you something it's not 100% accurate. But I guess an estimate, would you like that?
What I'm seeing here is anomalies. That's the word.
Yeah.
On all different fronts.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to be transparent with the taxpayers and say, hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
exactly what you said. People weren't being treated with hospitalizations because of COVID, so this affects this. But the trend 5 years ago was not this way.
Yeah. I can do
And
that for you. Mm-hmm.
So that's all
Sure.
these anomalies are creating issues.
Okay, no problem. I can do that for you. It won't be hard because I've got years and years of reports. So I'll just go in and capture those 1231 numbers for each fiscal year and bring them to you. Do you want me to bring it, why don't I bring it to committee next month? Can I just do that? Is that acceptable? Okay. It's not a problem. No, seriously, it's really, it's not a problem. If you're just wanting to look at the bottom line, what was paid out, it's not difficult at all. We've got the history and the general ledger, and we've got the history on reports. It's really not that hard. So, okay. Any questions? And then the final report is for the nursing home, and the nursing home, you can see their November revenue, 710,516. Year to date, 7,555,581. That's 109% of budget, and so they met budget during the month of November. We still have their December accrual to put on the books. The overall revenue for the month of November, 717,438, and overall expenses and transfers were 903,132. I think that one of the things in here that might be the reason why this is so high on the expense side, there might be a MedLife accrual in there, but I'll have to look at that. Overall, year to date, accumulated revenue and transfers, 8,243,000. Expenses were 7,614,000. And that is positive of 628,491. So that is a really good place to be at the month of November. But like every other department and fund that we work with, we've got a lot of accrual work and adjustments to make. The receivable at the end of November was $4,138,000. Cash and investments, had a little concern here. Cash was $84,250 negative. And then we have the resident trust of $47,789. So cash is down by $503,000 compared to the beginning of the year. We just needed the nursing home to continue to push on that AR balance and to continue to come up with creative ways to improve their revenue or reduce their expenses. Fund equity at the end of November was $4,180,725. So, any questions?
No questions? Thank you very much, Ms.
You're
McNeil.
welcome.
I will
Thank
say,
you.
and thank you so very much for your willingness to do a roll-up report in taking a look at the last 5 years. Those anomalies would be kind of helpful to be able to see and maybe paint the picture a little bit more clearly for those of us who aren't in it every single day. So that brings us to take a vote. All in favor to accept and place on file the treasurer's monthly financial reports, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And all opposed? That motion passes. Thank you very much for your time this evening. This carries us on to 5C, the County Clerk Kathy Michael monthly reports. The County Clerk's office has nothing to be presented for action. Monthly reports can be found on pages 5 through 12. Any comments or questions I'm sure could be directed to the County Clerk's office. Should anyone have any questions or concerns in this moment on what you saw on the pages? Alrighty, moving right along to D, so that will be 5D 1 Marshall Thompson, Director of Animal Control Program. Welcome, Ms. Thompson. Thank you very much for being here with us today. So we have no items to be presented for action, but we do have the monthly report on file, pages 13 through 18. Might you have any information that you'd like to share with us this evening?
Everything's going really well. We're finalizing everything for the end of the year and getting all the finalizing December, so it's done by the end of January. We are higher trending in numbers. I think everybody probably saw that. 136 more dogs compared to this time last year and 214 more cats. We were also able to help many of those animals with the charitable trust donated some more funds, so you'll be seeing emergency appropriation requests coming in next packet. So other than that, everything is going really well and looking forward to all the new things with all the new possibilities.
Thank you very much. Comments or questions?
I am smiling if you can't tell.
All right, no comments or questions. Thank you so very much for the information provided in the report. We look forward to seeing perhaps some action items next month. All right, sounds good. Thank you very much. All right, moving right along to 5E, we've got Supervisor of Assessments, Mr. Tim Jorsak. Mr. Jorsak doesn't have any items to be presented for action, items for information. Mr. Jorsak, do you have anything to share for, since you're with us this evening?
No, I just like to make myself available.
All right.
If you got any questions, let me know.
Thank you very much for your presence. Any questions for Mr. Jorsak? All right. Again, thank you very much for being here this evening. Let's go ahead and continue on to our last item in departmental matters. We have F with Administrator Taylor. Administrator Taylor, we have a few items for action this evening. F1A, request approval of a Class C raffle license of the American Legion. May I go ahead and have a motion to put this one on the floor? Member Rogel gives the motion. And then a second, let's go a second with Member Erickson. Administrator Taylor, please take it away.
Thank you. So this is a reoccurring raffle from the American Legion, and they're located on Lincoln Street in Bloomington. This raffle is mailed to the American Legion members across the state that participate in this, and I recommend that we approve it.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions? All right. Seeing none, let's go ahead and take a vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And then all opposed? All right, that item passes, bringing us to F1B. This is a request approval of labor agreement between the McLean County Board and American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, County 31, or Council 31, please excuse me, AFL-CIO on behalf of AFSCME, Local 537. May I please have a motion to put this one on the floor? Motion by Member Roseman Mendoza, second by Member Friedrich. I will say that before we discuss this one, we do have the option of, if we are going to discuss it, we'll need to go into closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120-2 C2 of the Open Meetings Act for the purpose of discussing collective negotiating matters between public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedule for one or more classes of employees. I'd like to see if anyone has a desire to discuss, and we can go into closed session. All right. Seeing no desire to discuss and to go into closed session, we'll go ahead and call this one for a vote unless you have anything else to read into it aside from what has been put in the agenda.
No, I'd just like to thank Chris Spanos and the team that worked on this on both sides of the table, and you have the memo there of the changes that were made.
Thank you very much to all that are involved. Let's go ahead and vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And all opposed? All right, the motion passes. All righty. This one brings us to our second item to be presented for information. But however, I'd like to maybe make a suggestion or a motion that before we get into F2, that we go ahead and pay the bills, seeing as how F2, item F2 to be presented for information, will take us into closed session. So I'd like to go ahead and, with recommendment of paying the bills and transfers, if any, to the county board, we've got a note from County Auditor Ms. Anderson, who recommends that we pay the bills to the total of $1,084,590.43. May I have a motion to pay those bills? Motion by Member Friedrich, second by Member Rogel. Comments or questions regarding paying the bills? Seeing none, let's go ahead and put it to a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. And all opposed? The motion passes. We have successfully paid the bills. All right, and then can we go ahead and make a note in the other business and communication before going into closed session? Absolutely. All right, so if you direct your attention to the last bit of the packet, number 7 is other business and communication. We just have a listing of the meeting dates. Go ahead and make sure you get those on your calendar, as some of the dates might be a split week, so it would be helpful to make sure you've got your calendar planned around those. All right, any other questions, comments, concerns surrounding other business and communication or the 2023 meeting dates? All right, with that, we will be moving into F2B, which is an item to be presented for information. This is a closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 102-2C11. Pending litigation. Litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. May I please have a motion to go into closed session? A motion by Member Rogel, a second by Member Erickson, and this is your reminder to please turn off your microphones as well as all devices. Any additional members that are in the room or community folks, we'll give you a moment to head out. We'll give Ms. Morlock a moment to get everything set up before